Hey everyone, and welcome to an exciting new episode of Let's Build a Bassboard, the series where you, the viewer, tell me what to put on my pedal board and what kind of tone to dial in and what type of gig to prepare myself for. So in the very first episode I asked you to challenge me to build a pedal board. And a lot of you guys pushed through and made some really cool suggestions, and quite a few of you challenged me to build a metal bass pedal board, and that's exactly what I've done today. This pedal board consists of 5 pedals, as you can see, and it's intended for live use, although it sounds great here in the studio as well, as you probably will agree with me about. But the main idea behind this board is to have it live, and it's arranged in a way that you can use it both with an external amp and go direct to the front of house. So I'm gonna break down what I've got going here on this pedal board for you, so you get an idea what's going on. It's basically all Darkglass gear except for the very first pedal, so we're gonna start off with that one. First up, we got a tuner. We got a Korg Pitchblack tuner for silent tuning. Because, like I said in the first episode, nobody wants to hear you tune, no matter how famous you get. Remember that.
Remember that, Pete. Remember that.
Also, I should add, we are using a Pedaltrain Nano Plus pedal board. All these pedals are being powered by the Chuck's DC5 power supply, and all of the patch cables are the EBS flat gold patch cables. I've been using these patch cables for years now, and they've been rock solid and they take up so little space. Actually, if I wanted to, I could probably fit another pedal here on this board if I wanted to. But I don't want to, and I'll explain why soon. Anyways, from the tuner, we're going into the wonderful Hyper Luminal compressor from Darkglass. I've got it set for Super Symmetry mode. So the Super Symmetry compressor is one of my all-time favorite bass compressors. And when I found out that the Hyper Luminal compressor would feature the Super Symmetry compressor as well as 2 other cool and awesome compressors, I was really thrilled about that, to be honest with you. So here's what the compressor does. Here's without it. Here's with it. Normally I like to run my compressor after the distortion circuit and whatnot, but for this video I thought it would be best to keep it before the distortion, because that's how most guys run it these days, and it gives you a more even and precise distortion tone, even though I myself prefer to have access to more of the dynamic range of a distortion pedal. I digress. Anyways, that's what the Hyper Luminal does. It evens out my pick attack and feeds a nice and even signal to the next pedal, which is the Darkglass Microtubes X. So the Microtubes X is a crossover distortion pedal. You can adjust where you want the distortion to kick in and where you want to keep it clean, which is really useful for a nice and aggressive bass tone that cuts through mix but still maintains those oh so important lows of the bass tone. So here's the tone with the Microtubes X. And here's without it. So as you can hear, there is a pretty big difference to the tone when the Microtubes X kicks in with the Microtubes X engaged, because that's how I like it. Anyways, from the Microtubes X we're going into the Harmonic booster, which is the clean bass preamp of this very rig and setup. So with the Harmonic booster and without it. So as you can hear, I've got it set for quite a bit of mid gain to, you know, give some extra oomph to the tone. This is also a really great clean preamp, as you can see. So when you disengage the Microtubes X and perhaps disengage the preamp of this bass, so by doing that you get a really nice and smooth clean tone. because you know, even metalheads need to play some ballads sometime. Just engaging the preamp of this bass. Gives you some more cut and aggression, and back with the Microtubes X, I'm back with the pick. You're back in Metal Town. That's great. So again, here's the clean tone without the harmonic booster, and bass set to passive mode. And with the harmonic booster. So it's a really nice clean preamp for you. Then we're going into the final pedal of this setup, and that is the Darkglass Element. This is the latest addition to the Darkglass pedal roster. It's a great headphone amp, and it's great for silent practicing, and it's also great for sending a nice and beefy direct signal to the front of house, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. So the tone you're hearing right now is the XLR output of the Element running into my SSL2 Plus straight into Logic. That's what you're hearing right now. You can load in 5 different IR files into this wonderful unit. It has Bluetooth, which means that you can connect your phone when you want to jam along to your favorite tunes, and yeah, it's a great unit. So, and now to the reason why there's a bit of a space here, because this pedal also has an output that you can run to your amp. So imagine this, you show up at the gig and you find out that they have a pretty nice in-house amp with a nice cabinet, and it all works as well. Imagine that. But you still want to run your preferred tone straight to the front of house. Well then you can plug the Element to the amp through that output and use the XLR output to send it to the front of house guy or gal. And yeah, so the main reason why I did a small setup for this video and for this type of pedalboard was because, you know, some gigs you can show up with your big board and all of your effects and everything, but sometimes you need something convenient you can just put in a small bag and have in one hand and your bass on your shoulder and you're ready to go. And that was the main idea behind this very pedalboard. It was a really fun challenge to get, to dial in a nice and modern metal tone, and I think I succeeded, if I may say so myself. There is a lot of drive to still here on the Microtubes X. Some guys like that. I prefer to dial down a wee bit. Just give you some bite and teeth without taking over too much. So there you go. That's the first pedalboard that I've built from your requests here on Let's Build a Bassboard. So for next episode, do the same thing. Leave a comment, leave a suggestion, challenge me, remind me of your challenges from last episode. There's also a complete list of all of the available pedals in the video description of this very video. I want to give a huge shout out to Darkglass Electronics for sending me the wonderful Element to add to this cool pedalboard setup that we got going here. So with all this being said, make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and leave more suggestions for me on what to build next here on Let's Build a Bassboard. I hope that you enjoyed this series. I enjoy making these videos quite a lot, so let's keep at it. So with all that being said, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.